So for a good long while, people have been speculating about the possibility of Nintendo making a Switch Pro, a Switch console that would finally bring more power to the popular handheld console, giving players the ability to play their games in 4K resolution or have higher frame rates overall. But instead of all of that, Nintendo released a Switch console with an updated OLED screen, and that's pretty much it. But the question that's on my mind is why? Why did Nintendo make this console? Who is it for? And should anyone with an existing Nintendo Switch upgrade to this new console? Well, let's talk about it. So let's go over some of the new changes that are coming to the OLED Switch. Okay, let's see here. So it looks like we have an OLED screen. Obviously. An Ethernet port. Oh, that's pretty sick. A new, wider kickstand. That's cool. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. To me, the most important feature on this list is the Ethernet port. I think that this is actually a really great upgrade. The only problem that I have with it is that I think it comes to the Switch far too late. Like, this is something that should have been on the original model from the get-go, right? Everyone should have the option to be able to plug their console directly into the internet. Let's use Smash as an example, right? Everyone likes to play Smash online with their friends. Let's say you're playing with a couple of friends, you have the new fancy OLED Switch. Okay, cool, you have the ability to plug it in directly to the internet. But none of your friends do. You're the only one, okay? And let's say that one of your friends, Timmy, right? Little Timmy, you know, that guy, okay? He is playing his Switch in the basement, right? His Wi-Fi router, where he's, connecting to you from, is all the way upstairs. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Wi-Fi, but that tends to degrade the quality of the signal. And so this is going to cause lag for all of you. For you're gonna be seeing him jump around, and he's gonna be seeing you probably jump around. It's going to be bad, okay? Doesn't matter if you have the Ethernet port connected. And that's why I believe that the Switch should have had an Ethernet port right from the beginning. Because if everyone had the ability to plug their console directly into the internet, then there would be less likely a chance for you to run into people either when you're playing online or with your friends that have bad connections due to Wi-Fi signals, being too far away or whatever. And this doesn't have to be just for Smash either. This could be literally for any online game you play, whether it be Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Mario Party. Does that even have online? I don't know. Fucking Star Fox Zero. Whatever you play online on your Switch would benefit from having a Ethernet connection directly into the console. The wider kickstand is actually pretty great. Although, again, I think this is something that probably should have been in the original design. The original Switch's stand kind of felt like a really weak piece of plastic that felt like maybe the slightest bump would just knock the entire console over. So, I don't know. It's cool that it's there now, but should have been there from the beginning once again. Now we come to the namesake of the new console, the OLED screen. So what exactly is an OLED screen? Well, if you don't know, as opposed to the more commonly known LCD displays that use backlights to illuminate the pixels in the screen, an OLED screen does not use a backlight at all. Each pixel on the screen is capable of illuminating itself independently. The benefit of this is that it allows the OLED screen to produce deeper blacks by turning off pixels completely, which in turn gives you a higher contrast image. That's a pretty basic rundown of what an OLED screen is, but you could always look it up and learn more about it if you really want to. To be fair, I think that if you play the Switch in handheld mode primarily, this will be a nice visual upgrade for you. But if you notice that some of your games perform poorly, or maybe are a little choppy, this is not going to fix that. This is literally just a new screen, a nicer screen, but if you have noticed choppy footage before, you're still going to have that choppy gameplay. It'll just look nicer now, I guess. I think it goes without needing to be said that this probably isn't the Switch upgrade that people were expecting. It's a little frustrating for me in particular because I've been waiting to upgrade my console for a long time, okay? A long time, because I can't stand drop frames. I don't want to play choppy games on a nicer looking screen, okay? This console upgrade should have been one of power and performance. Honestly, I don't care about 4K. I would have been happy with the same 720p screen with just a better processor in the console and consistent frame rates. That's literally all I wanted. I've heard some people share the opinion that having a Switch Pro that was more powerful than the base model might split the player base between the two models, and that the upgraded specs might encourage devs to focus more of their efforts on developing games for the more powerful console, while leaving the older version in the dust completely. I kind of understand where they're coming from with that and why they're worried about that, but I don't really think that's a realistic way of looking at the situation. I mean, there's a precedent to suggest that Nintendo won't do this. Nintendo has made the 3DS, right? And then later on came the new 3DS. And the new 3DS for sure was a spec bump. It had a newer processor, it was faster, played games a little better, and there were some games that were exclusive to that new 3DS. But all of Nintendo's main titles and most of the 3DS library was available on all versions of the 3DS, regardless of if you had the new one or not. Additionally to that, Xbox and PlayStation have made upgraded models of the PS4 and the Xbox One. And you know what? Nothing really happened. The original consoles are still supported and never left out of new releases. Even to this day, new games come out for both the PS4 and the Xbox One. The upgrade was an option for people who either never got a console to begin with or wanted to have a better experience on the platform of their choice. There's a precedent to do this correctly, so we know it can be done. Whether or not Nintendo is capable of actually doing it correctly is an entirely different story, which maybe we'll find out in the future, who knows. So at the end of the day, the final question that I wanted to answer here today is who should buy this Switch, right? Like, who is this even for? Well, if you own a Switch already, I can't really recommend this to you. It doesn't really present anything new enough for you to go out and buy a whole new console. In my opinion, the OLED screen isn't really enough of an upgrade to warrant ditching your old Switch and buying this new one. Although, if you are one of those collector types and you like buying two of each console that comes out and, keeping one in a glass box and playing with the other, I guess maybe you're gonna get this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The only people who should probably even consider this are those who haven't maybe bought a Switch yet, right? If you're someone who hasn't really gotten into the Switch, maybe this is an option for you. I mean, it's a little more expensive. I think it's like $50, I'll put it up on screen, but I think it's like $50 more expensive than the actual Switch. But if you haven't gotten into the Switch yet, this might be the one for you. Maybe you'll like seeing better graphics or having a better display on your console when you play handheld. So if you've been waiting to get a Switch and you think you'll benefit from having an OLED display, then maybe this is it. Go for it, right? So as for me, I'm still putting off games from the 3DS era that I haven't touched or finished, right? So I think I should probably work on finishing those games up before I buy an entirely new console with an entirely new set of games that I'll never play or finish. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get a Switch. You never know, right? Maybe one day. Who knows, right? Yeah. That's all for now. I'll catch you later. Is it like impossible to not be cringe when you end a video? I don't know. I feel like there's no way to just be like, that's all I got, bro. I don't know. Hey, fade, please. I don't know, something like that.